I go by Flight, but you can call me FTC. Flight team, stand up. It's June. NBA Finals start today, champ. With that being said, we got what you need to know before the NBA Finals by Daniel Lee. Make sure you guys are subbing up to Daniel Lee. He's about to be at 200K. Let's run it up.
The Spurs-Knicks finals
Underrated
match
NBA channel, by the way.
might be one of the most anticipated series we've had in a long time. So in this video, I wanted to break down both teams and talk about a few things that may swing this series. The Knicks come in as one of the hottest teams we ever seen in the playoffs. Yes, their competition hasn't been great, but this team should be taken very seriously. After going down 2-1 against the Hawks in the first round, they have won 11 straight games coming into the finals. Now, we have talked a lot about why they've been so good on the
So they on a winning streak.
NBA Australia channel, but if you didn't get a chance to watch it, here's the crash course version. The biggest change they made was their utilization of Karl Anthony Towns. Instead of making him a scorer, the Knicks have used him as the primary playmaker, which has opened up their offense. Because Towns is a great three-point shooter, this drags the big man out and then opens up all sorts of options in the paint. For example, Towns is at the three-point line, so by bringing a Kongu out with them, the paint is now wide open. To take advantage of that, they set a screen. So OG Anunoby,
that's why I'm so happy we got. I think we had him
to
on
get the smaller
assist.
CJ McCollum on him. The Knicks don't want to switch, so 2 go to OG, and that now leaves Alvarado open for 3.
I didn't even know Cat be passing like
Here's
that.
one that's very similar. This time Brunson is the one setting a screen for OG to cut into the paint. And if that doesn't work, Hart is there to set a screen for Brunson to come back up. There's too many options for the Hawks to deal with, and that's how OG gets an easy layup. What the Knicks are doing here is using Towns' entire offensive skill set. Yes, he is a good scorer, but his threat as a shooter allows him to use his passing more effectively. Because teams have to respect his three-point shot, everyone else can play with more space and does get much better shots. So all Towns has to do is assess how the defense is playing him and respond to that. In the Cleveland series, they were more prepared for his passing, but that meant he could walk into more open shots and then knock those down. This is why Towns provides such problems for bigs, because he could shoot, pass, and dribble as a big man. And that's why he is arguably the biggest X factor going into the finals. The second big adjustment is to incorporate more movement when Brunson has the ball. While Brunson had a good postseason last year, he was working really hard for his shots, especially in the Pacers series. And as the series went on, he started to get fatigued, and the Knicks fell short. Now, most of his shots this postseason still come from isolation and pick and roll, but he just has more space to work with. For example, when Towns and Brunson run a dribble handoff, Bridges and Anunoby both move to occupy the Sixers. That lets Brunson get into the paint and score. On this one, Brunson's on the wing, and the Sixers have multiple guys that are ready to help on his drive. Now, as he drives, Bridges cuts, and Shaman is also moving, so there's multiple outlets for Brunson if he wants it. But because Brunson has a step, he just takes the floater and banks it in. This also makes Brunson's playmaking much easier. On this one, he's running a dribble handoff because the Cavs splits. Mitchell Robinson is open, so Dean Wade wants to help at the rim. But because Anunoby is running along the baseline at the same time, Wade is late to the corner, and Anunoby is wide open for 3. What this spacing does is make it much harder for teams to come double Brunson. His teammates are doing a better job just flashing to the middle and making plays off of that. And as a result, Brunson is making the right plays, and the Knicks' offense is a lot more balanced. The guy that's complimented Brunson the most is
don't double team Brunson.
Bridges. After struggling in the first 5 games, he's scoring almost 17 points every night and shooting over 68% from the field. Because he knows that Brunson and Towns draw so much attention, he just needs to find open space, which he's really good at. For example, he starts in the corner. Once he sees Hart get out of the paint, he then fakes a screen so he can cut right into the middle and scores once again. What has made Bridges so valuable is that he finds all his shots in the flow of the offense. That's why Bridges is the perfect complement to Towns and Brunson, who see much more attention. And this is why the Knicks offense is so good right now. They have one of the most versatile players in Karl Anthony Towns, a great scorer in Jalen Brunson, and another guy that can move and take away attention off those 2 guys. And their offense will give San Antonio some problems that they haven't seen yet in their playoff run.
Hey man, I love watching sports. This video is brought to you by our partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings app and use promo code FLIGHT when signing up. The crown is yours. Check out DraftKings live betting, same game parlays, and more. You can combine multiple bets from the same game, different game, and even sports for a shot at even a bigger payout. If sports betting is not available in your state, you can still join in on the action with DraftKings. Pick 6 for a shot to win cash prizes. With something for every sports fan, now is a great time to get in on the action. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code FLAT.
The Spurs come in as one of the youngest teams that has made the finals, and the way they've done it is twofold. The biggest reason is of course because of Victor Wembanyama. Because Wemby can cover so much ground, the Spurs defense was essentially a one-man zone.
I think
This
Castle can really stick on Brunson a full 40 minutes, bro. Like,
was in full display,
I really will be surprised if Brunson is averaging 25 this series.
during their series against the Thunder. Wemby would leave his matchup to go after SGA and basically force him to deal with double teams for the entire series. Because SGA loves the mid-range, Wemby's goal was to occupy as much of that real estate and push him out further. On this one, notice how Wemby starts on Lou Dort, but as SGA drives, Wemby comes all the way to the other side to block SGA's shot. The reason this works so well is because the Spurs have great perimeter defenders. Stephon Castle is their star defender who took the challenge of guarding stars like Anthony Edwards and SGA. Because Castle is so strong and laterally quick, he could stay with both guys, especially against the slippery SGA. The two-time MVP struggled for a lot of this series because he could not generate the same separation as he did in the regular season. Because he knew that Wemby was also waiting for him, he had to continue making really tough shots to score at the same pace. And as the series went on, Shea never got into an offensive rhythm and the Spurs came out on top. From an offensive perspective, the Spurs have tried to get Wemby going in all sorts of ways. Early in the series, the Thunder put Alex Caruso on him, so they would put Wemby near the basket, let him use his size to catch the ball, and then finish. Then as the series went on, Wemby saw Isaiah Hartenstein because he's a lot stronger and is decently quick. While Wemby is a generational talent, he still isn't offensively polished enough to simply just isolate on the perimeter. And in parts of that conference finals, Wemby did settle a bit, which is what any team is going to be okay with. Where the Spurs offense became much more potent is when they made Wemby a screener. Because they have great guards, they can drive downhill, and the defender has to make a decision between the ball handler and Wemby. Even if they try to stunt, that's enough room for Wemby to go up and catch it. These pick and rolls help unlock Wemby's verticality, and it's something that no team will ever have a true answer for. So as the series went on against the Thunder, the Spurs experimented with all sorts of ball screens. When their season was on the line, they ran empty side pick and rolls where they clear out one side, and the Thunder never really had an answer for it. On this one, the Spurs run that empty side pick and roll, and Hartenstein is left trying to contain both Castle and Wemby. So Chet tries to help him contain the Castle drive, but that then opens up a 3 for Champagnie. What this does is give Wemby options. So this time the Thunder fight over the screen pretty well, but without anyone on the left side, Wemby moves into that space, and this is a wide open 3. What's tough then is the Thunder don't know where to bring help. Champagnie and Vassell are both great shooters, so there's no help on this Castle drive. Hartenstein can't contain both Castle and Wemby this deep in the paint, and it opens up an easy jumper. Then in Game 7, they went to the double ball screen that created a lot of great three-point shots. On this one, the Spurs have screens on both sides, so when Castle uses the screen, Wemby rolls to the basket, McCain has to try and slow him down, so now Champagnie is open for 3. This gave San Antonio an offensive
I feel like the Thunder flopping was really their fucking downfall right there.
Blueprint to take down the defending champs. But when talking about this
flopping, not having proper help defense,
specific matchup against the Knicks, there's a lot of different challenges that they might run into. While Wemby is by far the best defensive player, he will be tested even more in this series than the Thunder one. As mentioned, Wemby primarily guards the guy that is the worst shooter on the floor. The reason he does this is so he can roam and pay more attention to the paint, but I'm not sure if that's going to work the same in this series. The guy that he will probably be guarding for a lot of these finals is Josh Hart. While Hart has shot the three-pointer at 41%, he only takes about 3 a game, so the Spurs will for sure leave him alone and force him to make them at volume. But with Wemby on Josh Hart, there's now mismatches all over the floor. In the regular season, Stephon Castle guarded Towns for long stretches, and as good as Castle is, Towns is just way too big for him. So whenever Wemby was trying to contest shots, Towns would take advantage of his size, whether it was scoring or on the glass. In their series against the Thunder, the Spurs were able to get away with Devin Vassell on Chet because Chet was not as aggressive looking for his own shot. But because Towns is a lot bigger than Chet and has a much more versatile skill set, he is the first big that would give the Spurs challenges on defense. The Knicks put Towns in all sorts of actions, even letting him handle the ball like a guard and finish at the basket. Because of this, look for the Knicks to run a lot of actions through Towns because he's going to have a size advantage if the Spurs choose to let Wemby roam around the floor. This also opens up the Brunson-Towns pick and roll. Because 2 Spurs guards are now in the action, Towns can get an even better matchup like De'Aaron Fox. Wemby tries to then scram Fox out, but Towns is a great passer and can find his teammates at the basket. Here it is again. This time the Spurs don't scram Fox out in the middle of the floor, so the Knicks look for Towns in the post, and only now does Wemby come over, but that's going to open up open shots for Josh Hart. Because Hart missed that one, the Knicks then added a wrinkle. When Bridges runs pick and roll, Hart flashes to the elbow, there's a dribble handoff for Brunson on one side, and a cutting Towns on the other. Wemby can't cover both, and it opens up a Towns dunk. The point here is that there's a lot of options for the Knicks to take advantage of Wemby roaming around, so I won't be surprised if Wemby actually ends up guarding Towns at some point in this series, but this is one chess match to look out for. The other interesting chess match is how the Spurs will use Wemby on the offensive side. While the Spurs are technically playing a worse defense, the Knicks have a lot of guys that they can throw at Wemby. The first guy they'll throw at him is Karl Anthony Towns. While he isn't the best defender on this roster, he has a big frame that can then slow Wemby down. Yes, he does get handsy at times, but Wemby is not as much of a flopper as some other guys, so it actually works to his advantage. So when Wemby tries to drive at Towns, he might have some success slowing him down. The other big man that will take him is Mitchell Robinson, who might be the best one-on-one defender. While Robinson is 7 feet tall, he moves well for a big man and has the wingspan to challenge Wemby's jump shots. He's also much stronger than Wemby, so he can push him off his spots, so watch for Robinson to take significant minutes just for his defense alone. The one time Wemby has had more success is when he got smaller guys on him. In their one meeting in San Antonio, Mitchell Robinson was out with an injury, so Wemby saw the Knicks' wings for decent stretches, and they could not bother him on the perimeter. Because Wemby is just so tall, all he had to do was catch the ball and then go up. Especially in pick-and-roll situations, OG Anunoby had no chance at guarding both Castle and Wemby at once. Aside from getting smaller players on him, watch for San Antonio to put him on the move more. When they got blown out in March, the one area of success they had was using off-ball screens. Because the Knicks centers are not used to navigating screens, Wemby could then free himself up. So a simple off-ball screen on the wing can get Wemby into a spot, and he could then take care of the rest. At least half of Wemby's field goals in this game came from this exact play, and I think it's something that San Antonio can use quite a bit in this series. So, despite the bad competition that the Knicks have played, I do think that this matchup specifically favors them. But because both teams look very different from even just a few months ago, it's about as 50-50 as it gets. And that's why I'm very excited for this series to get underway. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please feel free to like and subscribe.
For everybody in the YouTube side, man, who do y'all got to win this finals? Spurs or the Knicks? I got the Spurs in 6 games. Overall, man, I hope this is a good finals, man, because regardless or not, we have 2 weeks left of basketball and none for the next 3 months.